up? This your girl Vitamin E, and as promised, I'm going to do the segment where I said that I was going to talk about mental health, depression, anxiety, and as well as suicide. Okay, I saw this post. Well, actually, it was this meme, and the meme said, "We need to heal before we have another generation passing off trauma as culture." And that was kind of like astounding to me because I was like, damn, we have a generation of people filled with trauma. We have a bunch of people walking around unhealed, walking around with a bunch of baggage on their back that they have not yet unloaded. They don't even know the etiology of the trauma, of the things that they're dealing with, much less how to express their feelings about those things, okay? We as a people, we're a very strong people. We're a very resilient people, okay? But we're no different than anybody else. We're not robots. We feel, all right? And like with any other human being, we get overwhelmed with things and we get overwhelmed with life. And 2 years ago, that's what happened to me. I got overwhelmed with life, all right? At first, I really didn't want to share my story because contrary to popular belief, I put out there what I want to put out there. So I kind of dictate the information that I allow to get out on social media. I'm sure, some people think that I put all my business out there, but y'all don't know shit about me outside of the bullshit that I put out there. But even though I didn't really want to share this story just because I felt like it was so personal and it involved me, God and the universe kept saying, look, you say that, you telling people that you're transparent, you keep it real, you put it out there, you need to put that story out there. Like, it's not, it's nothing to be ashamed about. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. It doesn't make you any weaker. But the most important reason why you should put this out there is because your story could probably save somebody else's life, and your story could reach at least one person to let the person know that you're not alone in this, okay? There's so many people facing this battle or that's been through this battle before, and you're not alone. So for that reason alone, I decided for once, because if you know me, you know I'm a reprobate, I am a rebel. I'm always bucking against the system. I don't like people telling me what to do. I don't like people confining me. I don't like people putting me in a box because, hey, I do what the fuck I want to do when I want to do it, okay? But I was like, you know what? I'm going to be obedient because I want whoever is out there that's going through the same shit that I was going through at the time, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, all right? You just have to hold on. You have to do the work, okay? And you have to be honest with yourself. But most importantly, you have to get help. You know what I'm saying? Help is out there. So before I go too far ahead, because I know I'm like jumping really fast and going like from one point to the other. But all right, so 2 years ago, I had a DVT in a deep vein thrombus. For those of you guys that are not medical folks, I had a deep vein thrombus that started in my right leg, and I didn't know that at the time, which is kind of sad because I have a family full of nurses. So me being stubborn, I thought, hey, if I just elevate my legs or yada yada, my leg would be okay. Well, it wasn't okay. The clot ended up spreading, so it traveled to my right lung, my left lung, a part of my heart. So needless to say, by the time I did go to the ER and I finally went to the hospital or whatever, it was bad. I mean, I was literally knocking on death's door. So I had to be in the ICU for 7 days with nothing but heparin drips, oxygen, shots, IVs everywhere, all over my vein. It was really a tough and dark time for me. A very, very dark time where I literally was like, oh my God, like I thought I was going to die. And I'm like, if I die, what happens to my child? Like I have a young kid that's relying on me, that's dependent on me, that I want to be there to see all his milestones, to see him graduate from high school, to see him play sports, you know, all the things that you look forward to as a parent. And, you know, it kind of like stood out to me at that time, like, damn, I might not be around for all that shit. So it was pretty scary. So, you know, once I was discharged from the hospital, whatever, I still had health issues, you know, that I still had to take care of even outside the hospital. So I was like on all types of medication. Of course, I was on blood thinners. I was on warfarin. I was on Lovenox shots, all types of medication. I had to change my diet, low salt diet now, because, you know, I would retain water. I mean, all types of stuff. So needless to say that, you know, that was really depressing. But what stood out the most to me is during a time where I thought I was going to die, I remember I kept begging God. I'm like, God, please don't let me die like this. Like, I want to live. Like, I was like, please let me live. Like, you know what I'm saying? I am just not ready to go. I have so much things that I have to fulfill on this earth, so much milestone. Like, I'm like, dude, I ain't even meet my boo yet. You know what I'm saying? My soulmate and shit. Like, you know, it's so many things that I haven't experienced yet and then not to mention the biggest motivator of all for me was, like I said, it was my child. So, you know, I got better or whatever. You know, months passed. Everything was kind of okay, kind of back to normal. And then, you know, it was just like a period where, when I tell you, like, all hell broke loose in my life. All hell broke loose. I was getting jumped from all ends, okay? Like, every time I turn around, I was getting gut checked, like pow, 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 pow. And everything was happening, you know, at one time. And I was just like so overwhelmed. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I literally was like thinking like, okay, I know I done talk shit to a couple people, but I was trying to think of how dirty I've done people in this past life. Because I'm like, what the fuck have I done? Because I just felt like, okay, maybe I'm being punished, or maybe, you know, somebody's putting roots on me or some shit. I was looking at all fucking possibilities because I'm like, yo, this shit, it can't be like life. Like, I never had this happen all at one time. Like, I would put out one fire, and as soon as I put out one fire, it was literally like 5 other fires that I had to put out. And so after a while, I just was like, you know what? Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. So while everything was going on, I started becoming very, very depressed, okay? So I started isolating myself. I wasn't going out as much. I really wasn't talking to as many people except my close circle. And even my close circle really didn't know the extent of what was going on with me. Just because I just didn't feel like talking, because I was sad all the time. Like, I would literally, like, force myself to get out of bed and perform my daily functions. But getting out of bed, like, it physically hurt. Like, doing the things that I used to love, doing the things that were day to day for me, it began to physically hurt to do. Talking to people, it just became a chore, okay? And before I knew it, I got to a point where living was harder than dying. And I know you're thinking like, that shit makes no sense. But until you've actually dealt with depression and, you know, dealt with anxiety and just all types of emotions that you've never faced before, you won't understand. But when you're depressed like that and life is just kicking your ass, living is an act of fucking rebellion, and living takes so much effort, because at that time, your irrational mind is telling you that you'd be better off dead. And I actually honestly thought that the world was better off without me, because I was like, what am I really contributing to this world? And outside of my son, maybe a couple of my friends, my real friends, like, who the fuck is gonna miss me? I talk so much shit. I annoy a lot of fucking people. So, like, the world would be better off without me in it. And so after a while, that became a constant. Like, every time, like, I would just hear, like, you'll find peace if you just let go. Stop fighting. Stop fighting to live. And it's ironic because when I was sick, I was fighting so hard to live because I wanted to live. But yet now, in this state, all I wanted to do was die. Okay? That's all I wanted to do. That's how bad I felt. It's like I felt alone. Okay? I felt like there was no light. It was just nothing but darkness. I felt like nobody understood, and I couldn't talk to anybody about it because then I felt like, it's an awkward conversation to even be having with folks. It makes people feel uncomfortable. That's number one. Number two, if there's a stigma behind it, where if you tell people that you're struggling in your head, you're struggling with your faith, you're struggling with, with life, you're struggling with living, with being who you are. You're just struggling. You're hurting, and you just want the pain to stop. You're not at peace. Your soul is not at peace. Your spirit is not at peace. Nothing in your life is at peace. How do you explain that to somebody? How? You can't. So, and then on top of that, there's that stigma that people are going to be like, oh, you're crazy. Or, people will insult you by saying, well, it's because you don't have enough faith in God. You're not praying enough, as if you could pray a fucking chemical imbalance in your fucking brain away, as if God alone and prayer alone is enough to make it go away without psychotherapy, without treatment, without medication. So what do? You manage that shit yourself, and you hold it all in, and you say, you know what? I'm strong enough. I could do this. I could deal with this shit. Like, this shit is not going to beat me. I'm not that weak. I thought talking about it was weak. I thought feeling the way I felt, it was weak. Because in my mind, you're a stronger person. You're stronger than this. Why are you letting this shit defeat you? And I work in the mental health field, so I understand mental health better than most people, but yet, still, I wasn't immune to it. And one day, I got into my car accident, and for me, it was almost like the catalyst to, like, the last straw for me. I wasn't mad. I wasn't angry. I just felt empty. I felt numb. I felt defeated. And at that point, it was just like, it was just too much. And at that exact moment, I just heard a voice, and it was clear as day. It was like, if you want peace, it could all stop. All you have to do is get this bottle of liquor, get these pills, take it down. You'll fall asleep, and it'll all stop, and you'll finally have peace. You don't have to fight anymore. You don't have to hurt anymore. You'll finally, you'll finally get rest. You'll finally have peace. And yeah, a lot of people say suicide is selfish. You're leaving all the people behind, that death is never the answer. But unless you live in internal hell where living becomes harder to do than dying, you'll never understand. It actually takes a lot to kill yourself, because you really don't want to. And that voice, I mean, at that time, it was pressing. It was like, do it. Like, you can make this all stop right now. So I went, I got the bottle, I got the pills, I put it on the table. And I was ready to end that shit. I was ready to end it all right there and then. Because I was tired. My soul was tired. My spirit was tired. My brain was tired. I didn't have any fight left in me. I was so defeated. I was so empty. I was so void. I couldn't even pray for myself. You know how when people tell you to pray? Can you imagine getting to a point where you just feel so empty inside where you can't even pray for yourself? I couldn't pray for myself. But I know a lot of people think that I don't believe in God, and a lot of people think that I'm a heathen. A lot of people don't agree with the shit that I do or the shit that I say or how I live my life. But let me tell y'all something. I would never deny the power of God, because if anybody knows how good and how real God is, it's me. Because God has come through for the kid on numerous occasions. And right then and there, I heard another voice telling me, Esther, you better pick up the phone and call somebody that you trust. Call somebody, because you have a decision to make right now. And that decision is life or death. You could choose life or you could choose death. But you gotta make that call. Because right now, you gotta make that decision. And I was crying, I was shaking. And I remember I called one of my best friends from Hawaii. I called Tracy, and I was talking to Tracy on the phone, and all I kept saying, I couldn't even hold a coherent conversation, because all I kept telling him was, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. I was tired. My soul was weary, guys. I was tired. That's all I kept saying. I kept crying, and tears kept coming out my eye. I'm like, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. I don't think I could do this anymore. I had a whole breakdown, like a scary breakdown. And I know that scared him, because he's never seen me like this. He's never heard me talk like that. I was tired, and he tried to calm me down, and then he was just like, you know what? Call the crisis hotline. Call the crisis hotline, lady. He was like, it's gonna be okay. And I was sitting there trying to mask my pain with everything else to try to distract myself. It doesn't go away without help, guys. It doesn't. It doesn't go away in isolation. And as scary as it is to open up to people and tell them when you're feeling like this, because you fear the stigma, you fear the judgment, but it's not your shame to bear. More people feel like this than you know. But because they're afraid of reaching out and telling people, hey, I need help. I can't do this alone. They end up they're in this dark place that they can't get out of. So they just end it all. And then, those left behind are left with all these feelings like, why didn't I know the signs? How come I didn't know? But the thing about it is, there's not always signs to depression. There's not always signs to, people wanting to kill themselves. Because we have gotten really good at masking our pain, at smiling and laughing and cracking jokes for people. That's how we deal with depression. And, those days where shit get dark. And that's why I feel like God blessed me with a sense of humor, because sometimes if I didn't have that sense of humor, where would I be? Where would I be? And some people are going to take this as, they're going to take it how they want to take it. People, they might judge me or they might have shit to say about it, but I don't give a fuck, because it's not anything for me to be embarrassed about. I'm just sharing my story with somebody else so that you never have to think that you're alone, that you don't ever have to think that death is the only way out, so that you don't ever have to think that you don't matter to somebody in this world, because you do matter. And somebody cares. And you're not alone. More people face depression and suicide, like suicidal ideations, than you think. And so after I spoke to him, I called the crisis hotline, and I talked to one of the counselors, and, I was able to call, a therapist and start getting treatment and start getting psychotherapy and just start feeling like myself again. And guess what? Now I'm here. And you would never think that I've gone through the shit that I've gone through, but I'm here. I am here. And I'm breathing. And I'm smiling again. And the sun is out. And I have joy in my life again. And you know what I've learned from therapy? To be honest with you? I've learned to protect my peace, protect my boundaries. Stop taking on and trying to cape for everybody but myself. Stop allowing people to, to dump their shit on my doorstep. People that's not even there for me if I need to dump my shit. Stop allowing people to cross certain boundaries. Stop allowing people to say certain shit to me. Now I protect that shit at all costs. I do. Because it's part of my self-care. And my self-care and my peace of mind is priceless. You can't buy that shit. You really can't. So now, I'm still in therapy because actually I would recommend therapy to everybody. Even if you don't have shit going on, hell, that's like pre-planning, pre-gaming. Just in case you have something, it gives you a lot of fucking coping skills. And it exposes your ass, it opens your eyes wide open to a lot of shit that you ain't even know. And it allows you to be emotionally mature about your feelings and expressing yourself. I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm strong. I'm a very strong woman. I don't like weakness. Like, weakness is not my thing. But I realize I'm not as strong as I think. I have my breaking point. I'm not a machine. And sometimes I need motherfuckers to pour life into me. I need motherfuckers to make me feel better about myself. I need motherfuckers to compliment me. I need motherfuckers to call me and ask me, how you doing? What's going on with you? So now I preserve my peace. But I'm here to tell you, life will happen. Life will kick your ass sometimes. And certain shit in certain situations will happen to the point where it's hard to come back from that. Life ain't easy. Life is beautiful. Life is complicated. But it ain't easy. But it's worth it, though. And you know what I felt more ashamed and embarrassed about throughout this whole ordeal? I felt more ashamed about people. I felt guilty because I felt like there's so many people that's fighting to live, that's terminal, that have illnesses, that would give anything to live. How dare I? How dare I spit in their faces by not wanting to live? But I couldn't help it. I couldn't think about that at that moment in time. That's an illness. And you're not alone. So if you're out there and you're suffering, don't suffer in silence. Don't isolate yourself. Get help. Talk to somebody you trust. Reach out to a therapist. Because I'm telling you, you can make it out on the other side. And life is beautiful. It's not going to be easy. Shit's still going to be fucked up sometimes. But guess what?
Don't say that.
You'll know how to handle it better. Uh-oh. My little guy's here.